Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. I am popping in with a quick Tidy Tuesday video for you. I have been super busy this month. My youngest kid had theater production performance, and that kept us busy for a full week, which is called Tech Week, and that's always a busy time in the theater. Then I just finished up the Crop and Create delivered card making weekend, 4 days actually. It wasn't just the weekend. And if any of you have participated in that, drop me a note. I'd love to hear how you enjoyed the weekend. And my college kid is home for a visit for spring break. So I have been swamped. So I'm just popping in really quick with a very short Tidy Tuesday, not Technique Tuesday, Tidy Tuesday. And I've shown this in the past before, but that was when my channel was much smaller. So I'm going to go ahead and do this again. And what I'm tidying today is, let's see if my mic cord will reach, is this section right here and this section. Now I showed this a little bit on a previous Tidy Tuesday video, and I believe it was this lovely bin that showed up on the video. Here we go. I'm not used to the backwards webcam. And this one is what I started a few years ago, and this one is in pretty good shape, although it's just a little flopped over at the moment. So what we are going to do is I'm going to talk about a homemade version of cards that you can create in order to keep your ribbon on these little spindles. And I got this idea from the embroidery realm of crafting because they have little tiny spindles that they can keep embroidery floss on. And I wanted big versions for my ribbons and twines and all of those things. So that's what we're going to do today. Let me go ahead and switch over to my table cam, and then we will get started. All right, so as you can tell, I've got a mess to clean up. I'm definitely not going to go through all of this, but in here, if I get them to stand up properly, I have my file of ribbons. So this is an older IKEA case product. And I do have a bookend in here to keep it snug so that they don't flop over as much. I know this product is no longer available, but with this project, you can go to the office store and buy what are these called? Index card file boxes. And they come in different sizes. So this is like a 3x4 size. Here, let me grab a ruler. 5. Okay, so this is a 3x5 size, but there are also bigger sizes. I believe this is, 4x6. So you can buy the size you want. I think I kind of stuck with the 3x5 size in here. And then, so you can buy some index cards if you want to DIY it. Or I have a cut file that is free on my website that will cut these out for you on an electronic die cutting machine, Cricut, Silhouette, Brother Scan and Cut. Although don't ask me questions about that one because I'm not familiar with that machine, but I know it's possible. I just don't know how. So any of those electronic cutting machines, you should be able to use this file to cut out. But if you don't have an electronic cutting machine, that is why I wanted to show you the DIY version. All right, so I would recommend using at least 3 of these index cards. And I'm going to stick, even though the 4x6 is an option, I'm going to stick with this size just because that's what I've started working with. And you can see the final product there. I am just going to, normally I would use a liquid glue to do this, to get to the very edges, but for sake of mess and time, I'm going to go ahead and use my tape runner. So I'm going to make sure I get to the edges as much as possible. And I am just going to line these up, and you can hide away the lines if you don't want to see them, and I'll show you. So I put them down on my table, and then I line up a corner edge first before I start sticking things down, and then that should get them mostly lined up. Now I want to hide the lines on these so I have a clean look. You know, with these ones I didn't really care. I was just going for it. But if you want a cleaner look, you can do lines next to lines. And there is a thicker card. These ones I cut out of the Basil double thick cardstock. I'm pretty sure that's been discontinued. I haven't been able to find it. I think Joann's has a double thick 12 by 12 cardstock. But something like 110 pounds, if you have a cardstock that's heavy, that heavy, would be good for this, because if they're too flimsy, the ribbon will pull them this way and cause them to bow. And then when you put them in the file, they'll also sag this way. So you do want something nice and thick for this. And that is why I say at least 3 index cards. My index cards are pretty flimsy. If you have a sturdier index card, you can get away with 3, but if you're flimsy like mine, I would even go with more layers. But for the sake of time, let's do this. So I just used a larger circle punch and a smaller circle punch. If you don't have circle punches, you can just use scissors. Let's do it both ways, actually. I'm gonna punch a notch on one end. Pretty easy to even punch through that many layers. Or like I said, you can use scissors to get more of this style of notch. So whichever notch you want. And then I do like to use a smaller punch to create this little corner circle. And that is, you probably saw me do it a moment ago, is to thread the loose end through. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna use my nice thick ones. Let's go ahead and grab something. Okay, this is a shorter piece, so I don't know if it would be really worth doing this. Okay, so I would normally thread the end of the ribbon through this hole. My hole is too small for this ribbon, so the other option is I will take a paper clip, and I'm actually going to kind of stretch it out some so it's not so tight. And I will stretch it out a little bit more, and I'll just slide it on there. Be careful sliding these off because that end can snag on your ribbon. So like you can see how much I stretched this out. And that can hold it in place. If this were long enough, maybe I would even do this end. Okay, and that one's ready to go. I know I have some more of these here somewhere. Let's see, these ones are all my homemade ones. I did a few of them before I realized I could make a cut file. And that was in the early days of me designing cut files. Wanting some of these style of things led me into, see, I have a whole stack. Okay, I'm going to use the good ones. Trying to think of any other tips and tricks on here. Now, some items like this, which already come on their own cards, will likely fit into filing systems. You might need to trim some of the ends down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And see, even this has that same design to it, where it has a notch, and then the ribbons sit inside that notch. And the reason you want a notch is so that they don't just slide off the end of your cards. So I'm going to leave that one as is. Anything that has, let's see, this one I'll just leave as is. Okay, I do have these smaller versions for smaller pieces, but I made these a long time ago, or you know what? I don't even think I made these. I cut these apart from a pre-made package. So what I'm going to do is put common colors together, and I might even put more notches into here. I don't think I have room for 3, and I'm just thinking of this right now. And that way, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and punch a second hole on this side. And that way, I can, let's see, I won't make you watch me wrap that, but there you go. There's one side, and then we'll get this other side going on. Hopefully you get the idea. I know I'm trying to be fast, and this is kind of a messy way to do it, but I'm also trying not to spend the time editing. So that is the idea. And then you put the ends through the loops. And then if you do smaller notches, or you can fit more in here if you have more of the similar colors, you can put them on a single card. I know, I don't like filming when things are a mess. Let's see if I can get something funkier on here. This was an older system that I used. I used these tabs, and I hung them from a ring, but I didn't like them hanging out because my cat would play with them, and because they would get dusty, cobwebby, because I'm in a basement. So I didn't like them being out. So having them in a drawer makes them easily accessible, and still keeps them clean and tidy and out of the way of the cat. So let's see, is this 3 separate pieces? Yes, it is. So I may do, I may just do, now they're going different directions. I think I'm going to try and keep them going the same direction. Figuring out which one is the top and which one is the bottom. You know, you're watching me work through this thought process. Maybe what I'll do, okay, I have an idea. Let me get this third one on here. Make sure I'm going in the same direction. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and paper clip. Better idea. I think I will paper clip these 2 to the card. I bend that paper clip so it doesn't damage my fibers. And then I will put this one through the hole, and maybe that will give me the reminder that this is my working one, because if I try and take these off the spool, they're buried underneath and it'll all get tangled. So hopefully my brain, maybe I've got another idea, because I know how my brain works. Start here. Can you see that? Okay, maybe your brain is like mine and you have to have these reminders. So there's that one. I know that one still needs done. Those are going to stay. All right, so that is the general idea of what I wanted to share with you today. I will probably sit and watch TV and go through as much of this as I have cards for, because I don't have any more of this double thick cardstock. I'll have to see where I go from there. And when I'm done with these, I will put them in my file by color. Now, right now, I'm not in the rainbow order, and for shortness sake of this video, I'm not going to do that. So I'll just stick those in there for now. I will organize that into rainbow order. I do have, once I get this cleaned, maybe I should start with this one. I do have 2 drawers to fill, and I do have a 3rd and a 4th drawer that has stuff in them that could be moved if I need more space. And that's the nice thing about this kind of index card system, is that if you need more space, you can go to the office store and very easily buy another storage box, more index cards. They're cheap. So this is a nice storage hack where you don't have to buy specifically craft supplies. So I guess a couple more thoughts before I go is, if you have things on a spool, they can certainly be stored in this same system. I'm probably going to take these off the spools just because I really like when everything matches and is the same. I know, my brain, right? Maybe you have the same brain as me. So I think in the beginning anyway, I will probably leave these on the spool now that I'm thinking about it. And then eventually I will move them over for the sake of tidying to get this all out of this jumble of mess. Things like this, I use this a lot, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. So it's going to be up to you and how your brain works to figure out what you like. And hopefully this idea is a good starting point for you if you've got a mess of ribbon like I do. All right, so really, now I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions or comments or ideas about how you store your ribbons, go ahead and drop me a comment. And if you're looking for more ideas, if you don't like this particular idea, no hard feelings. Everybody's different. You could read the comments of what people are doing with their ribbons and see if you can find something that works for you. So for now, I will say I will be back on Thursday with a layout process video for you. I will be back on Friday with a project share because, little sneaky peek, I did more than that in my card making weekend. And the 1st, I have a busy month for April of crafting. So I have a full schedule of crafty goodies to share with you in April. So that is what is coming up. And until then, I hope you have an artful day.